Have you ever stood up from a chair and thought, wow, that used to be easier? Or maybe you've noticed your energy dipping halfway through the day, and you find yourself wondering if that's just what aging is supposed to feel like. If you've had those moments, you're definitely not alone. And here's something important to know. Just because you've passed 70 doesn't mean your body has to start slowing down. In fact, there's a lot you can do right now to keep it feeling strong, youthful, and full of life. Let's be honest, getting older can come with its fair share of challenges. A few more aches here, a little less bounce there. But aging isn't the same as decline. You might not run marathons anymore, or maybe you never wanted to, but you can feel good in your skin, move freely, and have the energy to do the things you love. It's not about trying to be 30 again, it's about feeling vibrant in the age you are right now. In this video, we're diving into simple, powerful habits that can help you keep your body feeling young and energized well into your 70s and beyond. These are not complicated routines or strict diets. Just small, doable changes that can add up to a big difference in how you feel every day. So, if you've ever wondered whether you can stay strong, flexible, and full of life after 70, the answer is yes, and I'm excited to show you how. Let's start with something that might surprise you, your morning routine. Because the way you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. And for many people over 70, mornings can be tough. The body feels stiff, the joints are creaky, and energy levels are low. But here's the thing, what you do in those first 30 minutes after waking can completely change that. Try this. Instead of heading straight to the coffee pot or turning on the TV, take just 5 minutes to stretch. Not big yoga poses, nothing fancy. Just gentle movements that wake up your muscles and joints. Sit on the edge of your bed and roll your shoulders back a few times. Reach your arms up slowly and take a deep breath in. Twist gently side to side, like you're wringing out a towel. These tiny stretches send a signal to your body that it's time to get moving, and they help bring more blood flow to your muscles, which reduces stiffness and helps you feel more alert. One woman I know, she's 76 now, told me that she started doing morning stretches just last year. She said it was the smallest change she made, but it had the biggest impact. I used to feel like the Tin Man every morning, she laughed. Now I feel like I've got oil in my joints again. And she's not an athlete, not someone who ever went to the gym regularly, just a regular person who gave her body a few minutes of love each morning. That's all it took to start feeling more youthful. And speaking of movement, that brings us to something a lot of people overlook once they retire or slow down a bit: daily activity. It's easy to think that slowing down is just part of aging. Maybe the knees hurt a bit, or the back is acting up, and you find yourself sitting more than you used to. But here's the secret: sitting too much is one of the quickest ways to feel older than you really are. You don't need to power walk 5 miles a day or join a dance class, though if you want to, by all means, go for it. What really matters is consistency. Little bits of movement throughout your day can keep your muscles strong, your joints limber, and your heart healthy. Think about all the ways you can add movement without changing your entire routine. When you're brushing your teeth, try standing on one foot for a few seconds to work your balance. If you're talking on the phone, pace the room instead of sitting. Every time you get up from a chair, pause and sit down again, just once or twice more. That alone helps strengthen your legs. There's a man in my neighborhood, he's 82, walks slower than he used to, but you know what he does? He walks to his mailbox 3 times a day. Not because he's expecting letters, but because he says, "It keeps my legs in the game." That little walk gives him purpose, keeps him mobile, and more than anything, it reminds him that he's still in control of how he feels. Now, let's talk about something we all enjoy: food. Because one of the biggest ways to keep your body feeling young after 70 is through what you put on your plate. And no, I'm not here to tell you to give up all your favorites or start eating kale with every meal. That's not realistic, and frankly, not very fun. What is realistic is learning how to eat in a way that fuels your body, not just fills your stomach. Here's a simple thought: think of every meal as a chance to either add energy or drain it. Foods that are overly processed, full of sugar, or fried in heavy oils can make your body work harder just to digest them. And when your body works harder, you feel more tired. On the other hand, meals that include whole, real foods, things like fruits, vegetables, beans, fish, or lean meats, those foods give your body the tools it needs to repair, rebuild, and stay strong. Now, this doesn't mean you have to become a nutritionist. One woman I met at a local community center started doing something very clever. She made a deal with herself: every meal had to have at least one colorful food that came from the earth. Could be blueberries at breakfast, a few slices of tomato on her sandwich at lunch, or roasted carrots with dinner. She called it her rainbow rule, and it helped her keep things simple while still giving her body what it needed. Also, don't underestimate the power of hydration. As we age, our sense of thirst can get a bit muted. You might not feel thirsty, but your body still needs that water to keep everything running smoothly: your joints, your muscles, even your brain. Try sipping water throughout the day, even if you don't feel like it. A good trick is to have a glass of water before each meal. It's easy to remember, and it keeps your system humming along. One more thing about food that a lot of folks don't think about: protein. After 70, your body doesn't build and maintain muscle as easily as it used to, which means it needs a bit more help. Including a good source of protein with each meal can make a big difference. That could be eggs in the morning, some tuna or beans at lunch, or chicken, lentils, or tofu at dinner. You don't have to eat a steak every day. Just think of protein as one of the keys to keeping your muscles strong, and your strength up. Let me tell you about George. He's 79, loves to garden, and says he owes it all to his new habit of having a boiled egg and a handful of walnuts each morning. He told me, "I didn't think something that small could matter, but I'm not as sore after I dig around in the yard, and I feel steadier when I carry things." That's the magic of giving your body what it needs. It doesn't take much, just consistency. Now, let's take a moment to talk about something we all need more of: rest. But I'm not talking about just any rest. I mean the kind of rest that actually helps your body recover and recharge. Many people think that once you hit a certain age, you naturally start sleeping less. And while it's true that sleep patterns can change, it doesn't mean you need less sleep. It just means you may need to adjust how you approach it. Your body repairs itself when you sleep. It's when your muscles rebuild, your brain clears out waste, and your immune system gets stronger. So, if you've been having trouble falling asleep or staying asleep, you're not alone. But there are some gentle things you can try that may help. Avoiding bright screens for about an hour before bed, creating a wind-down routine, or listening to soft music. These little changes can signal to your brain that it's time to rest. And don't underestimate the power of a regular bedtime. Just like a child thrives on routine, so does the body, even in your 70s. There's a gentleman who lives near my cousin in Arizona. He's 85, sharp as a tack, and always cheerful. His secret? He goes to bed at the same time every night and always reads a few pages of a book. Not the news, not emails, just a good, calm book. He says it's like tucking his brain into bed. And you know what? He hasn't had a sleepless night in years. Now that you've started tuning into how you move, how you eat, and how you rest, let's keep building on that momentum. Because the truth is, your body is always listening. Every step you take, every bite you eat, every moment you pause to breathe, it all adds up. And when you start stacking those healthy habits, your body starts responding in ways that might surprise you. Suddenly, you're walking a little easier, sleeping a little deeper, waking up with a bit more pep in your step. It's not magic. It's just you, making choices that support your well-being. And that brings us to another essential piece of the puzzle: balance. Now, when I say balance, I don't just mean standing on one foot without falling over, though we'll get to that. I'm also talking about the balance in your life. Between activity and rest. Between connection and solitude. Between pushing yourself a little and knowing when to take it easy. But yes, let's start with physical balance, because that one is crucial, and often overlooked. After 70, balance can get a little tricky. Maybe you notice it when you're putting on your pants in the morning or stepping off a curb. Things just feel less steady. And that's not your imagination. As we age, the muscles that help us stay upright can weaken, and our reflexes slow down. But here's the good news: You can absolutely train your body to improve balance, just like any other skill. It doesn't take a gym or special equipment either. Try standing behind a chair and holding on lightly with one hand. Then lift one foot off the ground and hold it for a few seconds. Switch sides. That's it. Do that a few times each day, and your body will start getting better at keeping you steady. Another simple trick. Try walking heel to toe, like you're walking on a tightrope, down the hallway. It might feel silly, but it works wonders for your coordination. There's a lovely couple I know, both in their 70s, who made a game out of balance practice. Every time they boil water for tea, they do a balance contest in the kitchen. One foot up, no hands, see who can last longer. Sometimes they wobble. Sometimes they laugh and fall into each other. But they've both said it's made a real difference, not just in how steady they feel, but in how confident they are moving through daily life. Confidence is a big deal, especially when it comes to staying active. Because when you feel wobbly, you're more likely to avoid movement. And when you avoid movement, your muscles get weaker, and your balance gets worse. It's a cycle. But you can flip that around. A few minutes of balance work each day builds strength, builds confidence, and keeps you doing the things you love, whether that's gardening, dancing, or just walking without fear. And speaking of movement and confidence, let's talk about posture. You might not think of posture as something that affects how young you feel, but oh, it does. You've seen it before, someone walking hunched over, head down, shoulders slumped. That kind of posture sends a signal, not just to the world, but to your own brain, that you're tired, worn out, or unsteady. On the flip side, when you stand tall, even just a little taller than you normally do, you breathe better, your spine lines up better, and your muscles have a chance to support you properly. Try it right now, wherever you're sitting or standing. Lift your chest just slightly, relax your shoulders down and back, and imagine a string pulling the crown of your head gently upward. Not stiff, not forced, just lifted. Feel the difference? It's subtle, but it makes everything feel a bit more awake, a bit more open. Practicing that kind of posture a few times a day can ease back pain, improve digestion, and even help your mood. A friend of mine, she's 73 and swears by her standing tall moments. She told me, every time I walk past a mirror, I check in with myself. Not for how I look, but for how I'm standing. Am I walking like someone who feels good? Or someone who's shrinking back? She started doing it out of curiosity, but now it's part of her daily rhythm, and she says she feels 10 years younger just from walking taller. Now let's switch gears a little and talk about something that often gets pushed aside, connection. Yep, staying socially active is just as important as staying physically active. It turns out, your body and your mind both respond positively when you spend time with others. It doesn't have to be a big crowd or a packed calendar. Just meaningful connection, someone to talk to, laugh with, share stories with. As we get older, it can be easy to lose touch with people. Friends move away, families get busy, and routines shift. But that doesn't mean you have to be alone. If you're not already doing it, consider joining a local group, maybe a book club, a walking group, a community class. Even chatting with neighbors or calling a friend each week can boost your sense of connection. And it's not just about the emotional lift. Studies show that regular social interaction actually helps reduce inflammation in the body and supports a stronger immune system. There's a man in Florida, he's 87, sharp as a tack, and he has what he calls his 3-day rule. If he hasn't seen or talked to someone in 3 days, he picks up the phone or walks next door. People think staying young is about your body, he said, but it's also about your heart. If your heart feels connected, your body follows. There's a lot of wisdom in that. Connection doesn't always have to mean conversation either. Sometimes, just being around others, at the park, at a cafe, in a community center, can give you that warm, human energy. And don't underestimate the power of helping someone else. Volunteering, mentoring, even writing letters, those acts of giving can light you up from the inside out. And when you feel lit up, your body responds with more energy, more motivation, and more joy. Let's not forget one of the simplest, most powerful tools you have for keeping your body young, your breath. We do it all day, every day, and most of the time we don't even notice. But breathing isn't just about staying alive, it's a tool you can use to feel calmer, more grounded, and even more energized. If you've ever felt anxious, tense, or tired, try this little exercise. Sit comfortably, close your eyes if you'd like, and take a slow breath in through your nose for 4 counts. Hold it for just a moment. Then slowly exhale through your mouth for 6 counts. Do that a few times. Feel your shoulders relax. Feel your mind settle. That kind of breathing helps lower blood pressure, reduce stress hormones, and even improve sleep. It brings you back to your body. And that's the secret: when you tune in, your body feels cared for, and it responds with more ease. There's a woman I met during a health workshop who had struggled with anxiety for years. After learning a simple breathing exercise, she started doing it every morning before getting out of bed. She said it was like giving her body a gentle reminder, "You're okay. We're starting the day together." That's the kind of partnership you want with your body. One of trust, patience, and kindness. And speaking of kindness, be kind to yourself. That may sound a little soft, but it's probably one of the strongest habits you can build. After 70, it's easy to look at your reflection and focus on what's changed. A wrinkle here, a little less muscle there, a slower pace. But let me tell you something important: your body has carried you through decades of life. It's danced, it's laughed, it's healed, it's held others. That deserves gratitude, not criticism. When you treat your body like a friend, someone you care about, not someone you're disappointed in, it starts to respond better. It relaxes. It moves easier. It starts to feel like a place you want to live in. And that feeling, that sense of peace with your body, is what truly keeps you young. There's no magic pill, no one-size-fits-all routine. But there is a rhythm that works for you. And once you find it, through stretching, walking, eating well, connecting with others, breathing deeply, and standing tall, you'll start to notice something amazing. Your body doesn't just feel older. It feels alive, capable, steady, and most of all, yours. So, by now, you've started to see how powerful the little things can be. A few stretches in the morning. A short walk to the mailbox. A colorful plate of food. Even just standing up straight or calling a friend. None of these take a huge effort, but when you do them consistently, day after day, they start to layer into something much bigger. They remind your body, and your mind, that you're still in the driver's seat. That life doesn't stop being good after 70. In fact, in many ways, this chapter can be the most rewarding yet. Let's talk about something that touches every part of how your body functions, but often gets brushed off as a side note: your mindset. Yes, how you think affects how you feel. More than we give it credit for. Because the truth is, your body hears every thought you send it. And when you're telling yourself, "I'm too old for that," or "I'll never feel better," your body tends to follow that script. But what if you rewrote that script? Instead of saying, "I can't," try saying, "Let me try a little." Instead of "I'm too old," say, "I'm just getting started." It sounds simple, maybe even silly, but those small shifts in thinking can open the door to new habits, new energy, and a renewed sense of what's possible. I met a gentleman once, 75 years old, always had a bit of a stoop, walked with a cane. One day, someone asked him if he ever felt discouraged. He smiled and said, "Why would I? I'm still vertical." That attitude right there. That's youth. That's the spirit that keeps you going. And science backs this up. Studies show that people who believe aging is a process of decline tend to experience faster decline. But those who see aging as a time of growth, wisdom, and opportunity, they stay healthier longer. Their memory holds up better. Their energy lasts. It's not about denying the realities of getting older, it's about embracing the possibilities that still exist. Now, let's talk about one of the most underrated habits for staying young at heart and in body: learning. Yes, learning, at any age. Your brain is a muscle too, and just like your legs or your arms, it needs to be exercised. That doesn't mean you need to go back to school or read encyclopedias, unless you want to. It just means finding something new that makes you curious. That could be trying a new recipe, learning to play a simple tune on the piano, planting a new type of flower in your garden, or even learning a few words in another language. The key is that you're asking your brain to stretch, to reach, to think, to explore. And every time you do that, you're building new neural pathways. That's science speak for, you're keeping your mind sharp, flexible, and yes, young. There's a woman I once spoke with who started painting at age 72. She had never picked up a brush before in her life. But she went to one of those local community classes where they paint landscapes and sip tea, and she fell in love with it. I never thought I'd be an artist, she told me, but now I look forward to every Monday. That little joy, something new, something hers, lifted her mood, gave her something to talk about, and made her feel energized in a way that no vitamin ever could. That's the beauty of lifelong learning. It doesn't just keep your brain young, it gives you reasons to get up in the morning. It adds color, texture, and excitement to your days. And when your mind is engaged, your body follows. You smile more. You move more. You live more. Another thing that makes a big difference, but isn't often mentioned, is the power of nature. You don't need to hike up a mountain or camp in the woods, though if that's your thing, go for it. Just being outside, feeling the sun on your face, hearing the birds, or smelling fresh flowers, those little sensory moments do wonders for your nervous system. They calm stress, lower blood pressure, and even boost immune function. If you can, make it a habit to step outside every day, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes. Water the plants, sit on the porch, take a stroll around the block. Let yourself be in the moment. Look around. Feel the air. That connection to nature is deeply grounding, and it reminds your body that you're part of something larger. Something alive. And that aliveness, that connection, is part of what keeps you feeling youthful. There's an older gentleman I once met at a senior center who had a very simple ritual. Every morning, rain or shine, he would sit by his window with a cup of tea and look out at the trees. "That's my church," he said. "That's where I remember I'm still part of this world." He was 91, and he had a sparkle in his eye that came from that daily moment of connection. And as we round out these habits, here's one that often gets left out, but might be one of the most powerful of all: laughter. Yes, laughter. The deep kind. The belly kind. The kind that makes your eyes water and your cheeks hurt. It's not just good for your soul, it's good for your body, too. Laughter boosts your immune system, improves circulation, relaxes your muscles, and increases the feel-good chemicals in your brain. Now, you don't have to become a comedian or watch funny movies all day, though if that sounds good, go for it. But try to find moments that bring you joy. Talk with people who make you laugh. Watch that silly video your grandchild sent you. Tell stories that bring back funny memories. Humor is ageless, and it's healing. I remember a lovely woman, well into her 80s, who would host a silly story circle every Friday at her assisted living home. Everyone had to come with something funny, real or made up. And for an hour, that little room would ring with laughter. You could feel the energy shift. People left standing taller, smiling wider. And for many of them, it was the highlight of the week. Not because anything big happened, but because they felt alive. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? Feeling alive. After all, youth isn't an age, it's a state of being. It's that sense of wonder, that openness to the moment, that spark that says, "I'm still here. And I've still got something beautiful to give." So, as we wrap up our time together, let's take a deep breath. Right now. In through your nose, and out through your mouth. Feel your feet on the floor, your shoulders softening, your heart steady. That's your body, right here, right now, doing exactly what it was made to do, supporting you. Carrying you. Partnering with you. If you've made it this far, I want you to know how amazing that is. Not just because you listened, but because you care about your body. You care enough to show up, to pay attention, to invest in your own well-being. That's powerful. And it deserves to be celebrated. Remember, there's no such thing as too late. It's never too late to stretch, to stand tall, to nourish yourself, to move, to breathe, to laugh, to connect. Every day you wake up is another chance to feel better, to feel more alive. And no matter what your age, your body is listening. Be kind to it. Trust it. Encourage it. And it will reward you. So now, I'd love to hear from you. What are some habits that help you feel young? What's one thing you'd like to try after watching this video? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every one, and your stories might inspire someone else to make a change. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more gentle, powerful tips to help you live your best life, at any age. Here's to living with energy, purpose, and joy. To staying strong, curious, and connected. And to remembering that you're never too old to feel good in your body. Take care of yourself. You're doing better than you think. And you've still got so much living to do.